Okay, let's get started. Now we are discuss about the Poetics by Aristotle, section 2. The definition of tragedy and the constituents of tragedy. Chapter 6. Definition of tragedy. This is the most important portion of the Poetics. It presents the definition of tragedy. The following chapters are devoted to an and also having magnitude complete in itself, in language embellished with each kind of artistic ornament, each kind brought in separately in the parts of the work, in dramatistic, not in narrative form, with incident arousing pity and fear, wherewith to accomplish its catharsis of such emotions. Here, by language embellished, I mean that with rhythm and harmony or song superadded, and by the kind separately, I mean that some portions are walk out in words only and other in turn with song. As they act the stories, it follows that in the first place, the spectacle or stage appearance of the actors must be some part of the whole, and in the second, melody and diction. Those two being the medium of their imitation. Here, by diction, I mean merely this is a composition of the verses, the metrical arrangement of words, and by melody, songs. What is too completely understood to require explanations. But further, the subject represented also is an action, and the action involves agent who must necessarily have their distinctive qualities of both of characters and thought, since it is from these that we ascribe certain quality to their actions. There are in the natural order of things. Therefore, two causes, character and thought of their action, and consequently of their success or failure in their lives. Know the action that which was done is represented in the place by the fable or plot. The plot, in our present sense of the term, is simply this: the combinations of the incidents or thing done in the story. Whereas character is that makes us ascribe certain quality to the agent. And thought is shown in all they say when providing a particular point, or it may be enunciating a general truth. There are there are six parts consequently of every tragedy as a whole. This that is of such or such quality with a fable or plot, character, diction, thought, spectacle, and melody. Two of them arising from the medium of imitation, one from the manner, and three from the object of dramatic imitation. And there is nothing else beside these six of these is formative elements that not a few dramatists have made due use of. One may say admits of spectacle, character, fable, dictions, melody, and thought. The most importance of the six is the combination or structures of the events of the story. Tragedy is essentially an imitation not of person but of action and life, of happiness and misery. All human exposition of the nature and function of tragedy. Aristotle summarizes his observation on tragedy into his definition of it. Tragedy is an imitation of an action that is serious, complete, and of certain magnitude in language, embellished with each kind of artistic ornament, the several kinds being found in several parts of the play, in the form of action, not of narrative, though pretty fair, affecting its catharsis of such emotions. The definition leads it to our divisions. It deals with the nature as well as the function of tragedy. As for its nature, it is embodied in the three aspects of nature imitations: object, medium, manner. The object of imitation in tragedy is actions of grave seriousness, complete in itself and having a magnitude. By magnitude is implied that it should be long enough to produce the rise and fall in the circumstances of the hero. The medium is language and all the embellishments it's allow. The manner of imitation is dramatic and non-narrative, one in which character act out the action. The function. The function of tragedy is implied in the statement that it arouses pity and fear and orgasm. The audience of these emotions provide an outlet for these emotions. The term catharsis has been interpreted as a pleasurable outlet, a sense of relief accompanying the emotion release. Critics have interpreted it to mean a safe outlet. Fear and pity cannot be full suppressed and they might otherwise have bad effect on the human being. Though tragedy, these emotions can find a safe outlet and thus have a beneficial effect. Plot was most distrustful of emotion and favored the suppression of them. Aristotle shows a greater realistic wisdom when he says that the relief offered by art can be not only pleasurable but also beneficial. Far, far repressions is harmful. Aristotle counters the argument of Plato that art has a dangerous effect on human nature as it might excite emotions which should be suppressed in the interest of public morality. Six constituent elements in tragedy. Tragedy has six constituent elements. Of these, three are concerned with the object of imitation. First, part plot or pieces of life, human action or experience. Second, the character of the agents. Happiness or misery takes the form of action in the end for which we live is a certain kind of activity, not a quality. Character gives us quality, but it is in our action. What we do, that we are happy, are the rewards. In a play, according the end of a dramatic representation is not to portray the character. The characters are included for the sake of the action, so that it's the action in it, its verb or plot that is the end and purpose of the tragedy. And the end is everywhere. The sharp thing beside this, a tragedy is imposed without action, but there may be one out without character. Again, if we staring together a set of speeches expressive of character and of the utmost finish as regard diction and thought, and yet fail to produce a true tragic effect. But one will have must better success with a tragedy such, however inferior in this respect, has applause, a combination of incidents in it. And again, the most powerful elements of emotional interest in tragedy, the peripetties and discoveries, are part of the plot. A further proof is in the fact that beginner's success earlier with the diction and character with, than with the construction of a story, say and the same may be said of nearly all the early dramatists. The first essential, the life and soul, so to seek, of tragedy. So to seek of tragedy. So to speak of tragedy is the plot, and the characters come second. Compare the parallel in painting, where the most beautiful colors laid on without order will not give on the same pleasures as a simple black and white sketch of a portrait. We maintain that tragedy is primarily an imitation of a dramatistic persona, are the qualities of the agent. The thought which we are expressed by the agent of action. Two elements are to do with the medium of imitation, diction and melody. The sixth element is that of spectacle. It's the mode of imitation by which the story is represented on the stage before an audience. Aristotle considers plot the most important of these six elements. It's the life and soul of tragedy. Characters may be drawn with great psychological skill. There may be great poetic and rhetorical brilliance, but that doesn't constitute a tragedy. Tragedy, in its essence, is a story. There cannot be a picture without a shape or design. The instance on the importance of plot is consistently kept up, brought out throughout the poetics. Plot importance. Plot in the drama in its fluorescence in the artistic equivalent of action in real life. It's to be remembered that to Aristotle, action is not a purely external act, but an inward process which works outward, are the expression of a man's rational personality. In the drama, the characters are not described but they enact their own story and so reveal themselves. We know them not from what we are told of them, but by their performance before us. Without action in this sense, a poem would not be bad drama. But on the other hand, no drama at all. Aristotle seems to set action and character against one another in sharp and impossible opposition. Indeed, the remark that drama without character is possible shouldn't be taken a literal sense. The probable meaning is that there may be a tragedy in which the moral character of the individual agent is so weakly portrayed as to be of no account in the evaluation of the action. The persons may be mere types. One cannot help but agree that action must ever remain. Action and that it is mainly for the sake of the action that is imitation, that is imitates. The person agent. Third comes element of thought, the power of saying whatever can be said or what is appropriate to the ocean. This is what in the speeches in tragedy falls under the parts of politics and rhetoric. For the order, poets make their personages discourage like statement and the moderns like rhetoricians. One must not confuse it with character. Character in a play is that which reveals the moral purpose of the agents. These sort of things they seek or avoid speeches with don't make these always are not expressive of character. Hence, there is no room or character in a speech on a purely indifferent subjects. Thought, on the other hand, is shown in all they say when proving or disproving some particular point or enunciating some universal proposition. Further, among the literal elements is diction. As before, explanation the expression of their thought in words, which is practically the same thing in verses as with prose. As for two remaining parts, melody is the source of greatest pleasures among various elements of tragedy. The spectacle, though and attractions, is the least artistic of all the parts and has least to do with the art of poetry. The tragic effect is quite possible without a public performance and actors. And besides, the representation of the spectacle is more a matter for the dressmaker and stage designer than the poet. Okay, do like, shares, and subscribe. Thank you.